The Anglican Synod is underway in Christchurch with a decision about the future of the city's quake-stricken cathedral expected as soon as tomorrow. The cathedral was severely damaged in the February 2011 quake. 6.5 years on, its future or lack of one has been debated, delayed and deeply divisive. But all that could be coming to an end. Our reporter Logan Church has been at the Synod meeting.
Yes, John. Well, I'm standing here at the church where the Synod is meeting today in Christchurch. The big hot ticket item is, of course, the cathedral. The cathedral's been lying in the centre of Christchurch for quite some time, 6-7 years since the earthquakes. It's boarded up, surrounded by fences, held up by shipping containers, metal struts, more of a house of pigeons and a house of worship at the moment. So there's a lot of eyes on the meeting, which is happening just behind me right now, about what the future of the building could be. And there are actually 3 options on the table at the moment. There is option A, which is to reinstate the building as it was, and this is the option that is preferred by both the government and the city council down here. There is option B, which is to demolish the building that is there now and build something new. And then there's also an option C, which the church has proposed, which is to gift the old damaged cathedral to the Crown for them to deal with.
Logan, we see that Nikki Wagner, who is the Minister, of course, and Leanne Dalzell, who is the Mayor, of course, were able to speak to the Synod. What was their message? What were they saying?
Yeah, so both Leanne Dalzell and Nikki Wagner have come out very strongly in support of option A. Leanne Dalzell said Christchurch could not take any more indecision and they really needed a decision to be made now. Leanne Dalzell has pledged on behalf of the council $10 million of ratepayers' money to help a rebuild. Subject to public consultation, of course. And Nikki Wagner, as well, in the past has pledged $25 million in funding and loans from the government to help that process. And they both really want to see this cathedral rebuilt as it was. Actually, speaking to Nikki Wagner afterwards, she said she was cautiously optimistic, actually, that the Synod would vote for option A. So that still remains to be seen.
Logan, we've had Bishop Victoria Matthews on Checkpoint. She is a very strong figure and she holds singular opinions, really, about the future of the cathedral. How is the Synod responding to the input they are getting from far and wide and, of course, many different sides?
Well, it's quite interesting, actually, because last night Bishop Matthews spoke at the Eucharist, which is the ceremony that opens the annual Synod. The Synod is a bit like an AGM, and the Eucharist opens it. And she outlined all 3 options, didn't give, at that time, any strong opinions, but in the past she has publicly stated her support for demolition. Today, though, in the actual debate, there was certainly a very wide, diverse range of opinions that were put out there. Mark Chamberlain from Fendalton, St Barnabas in Fendalton, it's a church here in Christchurch, he strongly prefers option A. He thinks that the offer from the government is too good to refuse. And in fact, he thinks that the community actually wants the building back as it was. However, Felicity O'Brien from a church in Linwood told the Synod today that the money might not actually come. They were just pledges at this point. And in any case, she felt that the money could be better used elsewhere. The actual cost of rebuilding the cathedral as it stands right now, the church estimates to be the $108 million region, sort of around that $108 million mark. And Felicity thinks that's just too much money to be spending on a building, and that could be better used for social projects such as housing. There's also actually quite a bit of support for option C. One member actually said that the church does have a new building. It's the transitional cathedral that was built after the earthquakes. It's also known as the cardboard cathedral. It's the same. It's got the same capacity as the old cathedral. So some people said that could be an option as well.
How does the Synod voting process work? In other words, who will vote, when will they vote, and when will we know how they voted?
Yeah, so it's a very traditional process. So there are 3 parts of Synod, so to speak. There's the House of Bishops, the House of Clergy, and the House of Laity, and they're all made up of different members of the Anglican Church across this area. And this area actually covers all of Canterbury, north-south Canterbury, the west coast, and I'm also told the Chatham Islands. So it's a big assembly here today. Around 220, 225 members are here today. And each of those 3 houses there has to be a majority in each each of them for something to move forward. Just as a theoretical example, the House of Laity could vote yay to a certain option, but the House of Clergy could vote no. So it could take quite a long time, and the actual voting process is set to start tomorrow, sort of tomorrow afternoon, just after lunchtime, and we're told that it could actually take some time. However, it's important to note that a spokesperson for the Bishop Victoria Matthews has said that they do expect a decision to be made, and they're going to be here for as long as it takes to get a decision.